Okay, so let's begin. So these are basically the starter files. I'll quickly go through the HTML and the CSS part right now. So let's first look at the code without CSS. It's pretty bland, so you'll understand what CSS did to this code. Where is okay? Let's do. Okay, so this is pure. This is the code with pure HTML. We have an element here called form, which is used in forms and stuff. So what we are making with this app is like a user will basically type out a task here, what he wants to do, what he or she wants to do, and as soon as we click on add task, what we need is that the task will appear down below the tasks, this header. So as the user add task, the this tasks tab will fill out, and that is what we are going to do in JavaScript, like using JavaScript here. So my HTML is a very simple file. You can see it's hardly a 40-line code. It's just basically adding forms here. And if you don't know how to create forms, it's just a Google search away. You can search how to make forms in HTML, and there is literally this form tag which we'll use. And then basically in the form tag, my next thing is input. So input is basically what I'm gonna type out here. So I'm giving the input type to be text, and this is just a name. If you want to give, you can give. It's an optional parameter. Then ID and class, we discussed what are ID and classes. I have given it an ID, and placeholder is basically what you see here. Like you might have seen in some registration forms and stuff that they have placeholders. What you want to basically what is expected from the user, you can put it out here. And then the next input I have is a button. So it's basically they have it pre written or whatever. Like whenever you give the type to be submit, they will basically create a button type, a square button type thing. So this is like a button which gets created, and you can give it an ID, and value you can basically add whatever it's written on the button. So add task, or if I change, it's like, yeah, it gets changed. So that's the value attribute here in form. And yeah, that's all I have. And the next is basically this section is for filling the tasks. I have an h2 which says task, and this div may basically I will fill out all this thing. So I'll just show you how it looks after. I'll just uncomment this. So okay, so this is how basically whenever a user clicks on add task, this will generate, and we will generate this by using JavaScript. We won't write it here, like it is written here. We won't be going to write any of the stuff here. This I just wrote so that you can see that what we are gonna do. So I'll just uncomment, comment this out again. Have 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah. So this entire thing will be dynamically generated using JavaScript. So yes, that's all we have. I'll just again go to the CSS, and so yeah, that's what it looks now with CSS. If you do full screen, it will be in the center. I have centered it. So I'll quickly. So I have done a lot. Like there is a lot of CSS code involved here. You don't have to go in depth here, but the basic things I'll say, this is something new. I didn't show you this yesterday. These are basically creating variables in CSS. As you create variables in different programming languages like C++, Java, Python. So you can do that in CSS too by using this root element. And like this is the syntax of it. And I've basically created all the colors I want in this project. I've named this dark, darker, darkest, and I can basically use the syntax for using the variable is this. You write var and the color and the name of which you have given, the name you have given, and that's it. And I've using some flexbox here. So what flexbox does is like without flexbox, I'll just show you. Okay, yeah. So without flexbox, this just remains like in the horizontally, basically. But the default may, if you write in HTML now, the elements align horizontally. But with flexbox, you just have to give the property of display flex, and it gets aligned vertically, and all the things like happen. Body, maybe it happens like I've given everywhere flexbox properties. So that's it. Like for the CSS part. Yep. I've given a lot of colors and some. So okay, linear gradient is something. I'll just show you what it is. So linear gradient, where basically you see I am the color goes here from basically pink to purple. So I've given that only, like background image to be linear gradient. My gradient should go towards the right, and it should go from pink to purple. And these two lines you see, and this might look scary, but it's nothing. Like if I remove these two lines, let's see what happens. See, if I remove those two lines, because since I had given the property of background image, it literally added a background image with the linear gradient. But I need the linear gradient to be in the text. So these two lines. So I'm saying my CSS key, like apply my linear gradient to the text and make my background to be transparent. So yeah, that's what linear gradient is. You can always look it up on Stack Overflow or W3 schools or even the MDN official documentation. I have shared all the links of the resources in the yesterday's summary link. You can check it out on the server. It is there. And so this was all about the CSS part. Now let's jump into JavaScript. So what I expect is that as soon as I click here, my task should appear here. So let's make a file, a JavaScript file. So with a .js extension, which is the extension to create JavaScript, and let's just check if everything is working. Okay. I have not connected the file, I guess. Okay, yes. So yesterday I told you that you have to connect your HTML and CSS files using this, right? The link rel style sheet. In the same way, you have to connect your JavaScript file to the HTML too. So you can do that just before your body ends, or you can do it wherever inside the body. So the basically syntax to connect your JavaScript file is script. Okay. Yeah, scripts src and file name scripts.js. Yeah, and let's close the tag. So this is how you connect a JavaScript file. Okay, yeah, it works. So for just checking, I gave it an alert here. So what this alert is, it's an inbuilt thing in JavaScript. You might have seen that whenever you click on something pops up, and there is basically alert if you have done something wrong and if you cannot proceed further. So that's this alert. This is the basic syntax, alert, and the message you want to show in this. So let's remove this. I was just checking if my JavaScript file is connected or not. So now let's move into the basic DOM manipulation. You might wonder what DOM manipulation means. So DOM basically stands for Document Object Model. Sorry. So Document Object Model basically means this element. So in HTML, we have the head, we have the body, we have the title, we have basically a pura tree of the elements in HTML. So we will be manipulating those elements. So we'll be selecting each element. For example, we'll be selecting here the form element, or maybe the task element, and we'll be manipulating those elements. So that is what basically DOM manipulation means. You are selecting an element from HTML. There are several ways to select elements from HTML. I'll show you that in a minute here. And then you can perform some operations using the variables you create using selection. So let's get started now. So I'll just show you what window that add event listener load. Okay, so what does this line mean? So window basically is my full window. Like this entire thing, the entire web page is my window here. So I want to do stuff when my entire page is loaded. So this is the parameter which I have given load, which stands for that when the entire page is loaded, do something. And I'm creating a function within it, an arrow function here. You don't need to know what all like arrow functions and stuff are. It's not complicated, but you learn it further. Like if you ever try learning JavaScript, you'll be learning how this is just like a normal function, how a normal function works, how in C++ or Java you have normal functions. This is just that. So I'm just telling my JavaScript that whenever my window completely loads, perform everything which I'm going to do right now. So that's the meaning of this entire line or function. And now we are going to select elements as I told you. So let's do that. So I'm going to first select my form element. So the syntax to basically select an element is document.querySelector. And inside the query selector, we can give the entire form element. As you see, there is this form element. You can write document.querySelector form, or you can basically give the ID and the class name. So it is generally good if you have ID and classes to give the ID and class names. So suppose I have an ID of new task form here. So I'll just use hash. Hash is basically telling the JavaScript that this is an ID, new task form. So this is how I select my form element using ID. And if I don't have a class here right now in my form element, but for example, if I had to select this section called task list, I would have selected it by giving it a dot and task list. Like dot is basically telling JavaScript that okay, this is a class, and so since we have an ID here for form, we are using this hashtag new task form to select this form. So we are selecting it in a variable called form. Const is just the type, so it's a constant. It just basically means ki constant element hai. You cannot change the element now. That's the basic thing. And let's select 2 to 3 more elements. The syntax is the same, like document.querySelector, and you might, okay, there is query selector and there is query selector all. So for example, as I told you that you can have multiple class names, right? So for example, if you have like 3 to 4 class names and you have to select all those class names, you can use query selector all at once. So you can manipulate like using one variable, you can manipulate all of those classes. But since we have only one class, so like it's okay, we can use query selector only. So for input, I guess we have, let's see I have a ID called new task input. So new task input, that's what I select as an input element, my input element. And then I'll make a list. Task, if I'm not wrong, let's see. Okay, so my list element is basically the entire stuff which when the user clicks on add task, there will be a lot of things which will be created under this ID called tasks. So that is my list element. So I am creating that. I will be using this element further in my manipulation. So that's why storing it in a variable so that I can just use those variables and do the stuff. Okay, so okay, this were all the elements we needed. So now let's work with the form element. So I'm adding an event listener again, and this time I'm gonna use a click function. So what does this click function mean is that whenever I click on add task, I should perform some task. So I'll again create a function. I'll create a function e and e.prevent default. So I'll tell you what prevent default does. So I'll just a minute. I wanted to show you something. So you must have seen that as soon as I click on add task, my page gets reloaded. So this is what browser does, like whenever you click on any button, it will automatically get reloaded. But I don't want that right now. I don't want my page to be reloaded. I want that whenever I click on add task, मेरे task नीचे आने चाहिए basically. I want my task to appear here. So that is the default. That is what you can call the default, behavior of the browser. So to prevent that, we use this prevent default, e.prevent default. So I've just given a parameter called as e, and e.prevent default will just now not, see, if I click on add task, my thing is not getting reloaded now. My page is not getting reloaded. So that's what it does now. And let's now store some more variables here. Input.value. So also one thing to note about JavaScript, that this is similar to C++ or Java. Like you have semicolons at the end of every, I would say, every sentence, every line. So semicolon is compulsory in JavaScript too. So yes. So I'm creating a task. Input.value basically means suppose I enter issue here. So this issue becomes my value. So input is basically ये field और उसके अंदर का value. I can show you. See, मैंने इधर So that is just basically ये value की मैं issue select कर रहा हूँ basically इधर. ये task में मेरा भी issue रहेगा if I like console log it and stuff. So I'll just show you console.log task, inspect element. See, as soon as I clicked on add task, मेरे console, like I have just console log the. So console log basically is एकदम सिंपल प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में तो मैं बोलूँगा तो दिस इज योर system.out.println in Java or your cout in C++. That's all console.log is. So it just displays your answer in the browser का console thing. So I've just to show you what this does is कि console.log मैंने task किया, तो मैंने task में समझो issue डाला था, तो मैंने add, like as soon as I clicked in, क्योंकि ये इसके अंदर है, like form.add event listener के अंदर है, तो as soon as I clicked it तो issue आया. So that's the thing. So we can get rid of that now. Okay. So now मेरे को और एक चीज करनी है. Basically I want कि this add task button should do a job only when the user has something here. So for example, अगर यूजर के पास कुछ नहीं है, like he hasn't entered anything here, वो blank है और उसने add task किया, I don't want anything to happen. So this is, I'm just gonna create a normal if block here. So telling my JavaScript code that if task is empty, so I used a not operator here. Similar not operator you might have used in other programming languages. So if my task is empty, I guess return, like okay, you can return. So return basically आपको ये block के बाहर आ जाएगा, form.add event listener के बाहर आ जाएगा. And we can also like let the user know कि why this didn't work. We can put an alert says task cannot be empty. So if now so if now when I click on add task, and you can notice my task is empty. So let me just click on add task. So then alert pops out कि task cannot be empty. You need to fill in something to proceed further. Okay. So now I'm gonna exactly tell you what we are gonna do. As I told you before कि ये हम लोग dynamically JavaScript से create करेंगे. Like ये commented out है. So now basically मेरे को ये जो मेरे div के अंदर है, ये div है ना जो मेरा है ना div id task वाला, this starts at here, like उसका ending tag इधर है, तो इसके अंदर मेरे को भी ये सब लाना है. So as soon as the user with a value, wait, okay, I did a mistake. Why is it? Oh wait, okay.
I think it should be done on.
No, it should. I actually gave an attribute of click. So basically, जैसे ही मैं click कर रहा हूँ उसमें हो रहा है. I should have given an attribute of submit here. Submit भी करके है. So submit is basically only if I wait. Yeah, it's not working now. So only if I click on the submit button, basically it should work now. My mistake. I gave an attribute of click. So only if you to basically click on the submit button which is here. Like you must have seen कि इधर एक मेरा type submit है. So जैसे ही मैं submit पे click करूँगा, that task is my submit button, तो वो pop up होएगा. My bad. So I was saying that we now need to dynamically generate ये सब. So as you can see कि ये मेरा div class. Okay, let's a minute. So yes, this is exactly how it will appear when the user clicks on add task here. तो मेरे को यही JavaScript से generate करना है अभी, so that whenever a user clicks a new task, add task करके हम ये सब ला सकते हैं. So now you can see कि एक हमारे पास div element है, parent element, उसका class is task. So this class element is basically styled by CSS. All the task elements, now you can see this dot task and dot task. तो ये सब CSS से styled है. तो I'll just okay. Yes. So I'm just creating a task element here. Constant task element document dot. I'll use something new here. Document dot create element. And create element where you can create any HTML element. So since we need a div element here, I'm gonna create an element called div. That's it. That's simple. And मेरे को, as you can see, मेरे task में there is a class called as task. Like मेरे div में, sorry, there is a class called as task. तो मेरे को अभी वो class भी add करना है. Like मैं अभी तो बस मेरे JavaScript ने element create किया है, उसको ये नहीं पता कि okay इसमें div में एक class है task करके. तो I have to even do that, and I can do that by selecting this task element dot class list dot add. So this basically stands for कि एक ये class basically add करो, and the class is task. So what it does is मेरे task element में task add कर देता है class को. That's the only thing it does. So now this is basically ये line पूरी बन गई आपकी JavaScript में div class is task. And अभी आप अंदर देखोगे तो there is another एक div class करके content. So we can do the same thing. I'm just gonna copy paste it and because it's the same thing we are doing. We'll just change the element's name here. Task underscore el है, task underscore content el कर देते हैं, and document dot create element div since we are creating a div, and task underscore content el में हम let's see what class is there. Class content है, तो अभी task के बदले I have a class called as content इसके अंदर. So till now basically आपने ये दोनों element create कर दिए, ये दोनों div element create किए हैं इसके अंदर, the tasks के अंदर. Now the thing is that JavaScript doesn't know कि ये मेरे कौन से parent element के अंदर है, like ये दोनों चीजें. Like this task is under this parent element divided task. तो वो JavaScript को नहीं पता है, वो will define it further. उसके लिए भी एक append child करके there is a function, not function, yeah, you can call it a function, append child करके. Like since we have create element, there is also something called as append child, which we'll use it in like 2 minutes now, I guess. So yes, अपन ने ये दोनों create कर दिए हैं. अभी मेरे JavaScript को ये भी नहीं पता कि ये जो content है, content वाला div element है, वो मेरे task के अंदर है. So if you look at the hierarchy here कि ये मेरा parent element है, this is my main parent element, section class task list, this is the main parent element. फिर उसके अंदर मेरा ये div element है which has an ID of tasks. Then उसके अंदर मेरा दूसरा div element है which has a class of task, and उसके अंदर I have another div element which has a class of content. So this is my hierarchy. So we have to even define those की like वही hierarchy हमें चाहिए, ताकि because the पूरा UI change हो जाएगा अगर वो maintain नहीं करके रखेंगे अपन तो. So task content, okay, we did task content. और so basically ये मेरा जो content है, it is the child element of a task element. So let's tell JavaScript की content का child मेरा ये है. So task EL is my parent element. Task EL dot append child which I was talking about. तो append child अभी उसके बाद मेरे को child element लिखना है, तो मेरा child element है task content EL. So now JavaScript knows कि okay, मेरे task content is the child of task EL. So that's what append child does here. And task content, wait just a minute, task EL मेरा ये है, task content ये है, I think everything is fine, I hope so. Okay, yeah, makes sense. So now JavaScript knows कि ये दोनों child parents है. So now let's create the other elements. आप देख सकते हैं अंदर content के I have this input type now. Input है और एक class है मेरा. So let's create this input now. Okay, so I'm creating an input element which is, okay, I'm missing a T here. I'm doing document dot create element. I guess I have an input element there. So input. So जैसे मैंने अभी div बनाया, मैं एक input element बना रहा हूँ. As simple as that. जिसका अभी आप input element के अंदर देखोगे तो I have few attributes which is type, class, value. So हमें ये भी डालना है. Like class तो मैंने आपको बताया कि कैसे ऐड करते हैं. अभी type और value भी we can similarly add in the input element. So ये task input element है. अभी task input element dot पहले class add कर देते हैं वो class list dot add class कौन सा है text class है so I'll add the class of text here. Then एक type है मेरे पास type is also text, so let's add that also. Type text is just बता रहा है मेरे HTML मेरे ब्राउजर को बता रहा है कि I want to accept a text element here dot I guess it's class list. Okay, no, it's just dot type. We select the type and we tell कि text है ये. I might have messed up कहीं syntax में, कोई बात नहीं, जब error आएगा तब देख लेंगे. Okay, and वापस और एक चीज़ है value. So value भी will just value भी अपना basically text ही है. तो वैल्यू बेसिकली वही ये जो इधर इस शेर मैंने डाला वो मेरा वैल्यू है. जैसे इनपुट डॉट वैल्यू में मैंने बताया था ना आपको, वही वैल्यू है बेसिकली. तो हम लोग वो भी ऐड कर देते हैं. टास्क इनपुट एलिमेंट डॉट वैल्यू इज इक्वल टू टेक्स्ट. ओके, तो बेसिकली अभी आपका ये एलिमेंट क्रिएट हो गया है इनपुट. अभी एक एट्रीब्यूट है इधर रीड ओनली करके. सो रीड ओनली बेसिकली मीन्स कि लाइक यू कैन नॉट एडिट इट. मैं कितना भी उसको आई जस्ट शो यू, मेरा कर्सर ही नहीं जाएगा उस पर. अभी ये न्यू टास्क इज बेसिकली एक रीड ओनली एलिमेंट है. मैं कितना भी उसको ट्राई करूँ कर्सर लाने का एंड एडिट करने का, इट इज नॉट एडिटेबल. सो आई वांट दैट इफ द यूजर क्लिक्स ऑन एडिट बटन तो मेरा वो एडिटेबल हो. So that's why I need to create a read only element. So we have to basically set an attribute here. Task input element dot set attribute. Set attribute में हमें read only डालना है, which will create a read only element. Which will like okay. So अभी आपका ये पूरा input element create हो चुका है. एंड अभी यू कैन सी दैट ये इनपुट एलिमेंट बेसिकली मेरे कंटेंट का ये है. कंटेंट मेरा इनपुट एलिमेंट का ये है, पेरेंट है. तो मेरे को वापस वही अपेंड चाइल्ड करना पड़ेगा. मेरा जो कंटेंट है टास्क कंटेंट EL डॉट अपेंड चाइल्ड टास्क इनपुट EL व्हाई इज इट नॉट ऑटो. No errors, okay. मेरे को एक मिनट. Task, okay, got it. I made a mistake. Then ऊपर भी कहीं अपेंड चाइल्ड में कोड्स में नहीं आता है ये. Task content ये okay, yeah. Let's वो कोड्स हटा देना वो अपेंड चाइल्ड में. It doesn't come in कोड्स, नॉर्मल में ही आता है विदाउट कोड्स. तो अभी मैंने वो भी कर दिया. then let's create the next element. तो अभी ये मेरे content पूरा बन चुका है मेरा, like from line 25 to 27 मैंने पूरी बना दी है. Now I'm going to start with line 28, which is the action का div element. So again, the same procedure which we used for the task element, we are gonna create a div class as actions. Okay, so task underscore actions underscore element is equal to, ये बेसिकली जस्ट नेम है, लाइक टास्क आप कुछ भी रख सकते हो नाम, जस्ट अ वेरिएबल नेम. डॉक्यूमेंट डॉट क्रिएट एलिमेंट div, अगेन अ div एलिमेंट, एंड वो div एलिमेंट के पास मेरा एक क्लास है विच इज कॉल्ड एक्शंस. task action dl dot class list dot add actions. So yes, so if you, I am sure you guys have noticed, but that key we are doing all of this inside this form dot add event listener. तो whenever a user clicks on add task, ये सब generate होना चाहिए मेरा. That's what it means कि okay, ये मेरा function है basically. ये function है मेरा. That function will be invoked as soon as the user clicks on add task. That's it. Okay, so task EL में हमने add कर दिया. Task action EL में add कर दिया है. And और क्या है actions के अंदर, let's see. Okay, so हमने ये div class actions अभी बनाया है. Now we have to create two more elements under div class actions, which are two buttons. तो दो बटन है मेरे पास, edit और delete के buttons. So let's create those buttons too. I'll just see कि chat में. Okay. If you guys have any doubts in the chat also, like please just tell me, because I'm not looking at the chat. So okay.
There are none.
Div class actions, and actions के अंदर I'm creating buttons. So const task edit button I'll create, document dot create element again, and this time I want to create a button, so it's called button now. And the string button के अंदर कोई class है. Okay, button has a class called as edit. So again the same procedure, we select task edit element, we do classes dot add, and yeah, edit is the class which I want to add in my edit element. So that's what we do now. And similarly हम ये delete button भी create करेंगे. I'll just copy paste the entire thing and change the name. So task delete element, document dot create element button, add class delete, or delete either be. Okay. So this was creation of all the buttons here. And also I forgot to do one more thing कि इसमें हमें text भी वापस ऐड करना पड़ेगा. As you see कि ये बटन के अंदर text है, like edit and delete का. Once again we'll show you. ये edit and delete, these are basically the inner text which is inside the button. So वो भी हमें ऐड करना पड़ेगा. So task edit el dot inner text. I hope inner text is right. We'll see if it's wrong. Inner text को हम edit से कर देंगे. और like the same thing for delete. Task delete element dot inner text. So inner text basically, as the name suggests, उसके अंदर का text. You want to change अंदर का text, so you use inner text and do delete. So this was the creation of mera, like I've like created all the elements now, and I just have to give now wo hierarchy ka I'll have to take care and append child and do the parent wala thing. So we'll do that too. Action DL mein. So if you notice कि ये जो दो बटन है मेरे, उसका पेरेंट एलिमेंट इज माय div class actions. तो अभी मेरा एक्शन पेरेंट है और ये एडिट और डिलीट वाले जो बटन्स है वो मेरे पेरेंट है. तो आई हैव टू add this edit element and delete element in action element, like append the parent to it. So task underscore actions el dot append child. So task actions मेरा parent है and मेरा edit element मेरा ये है, उसका child है. And similarly control C और हम delete भी ऐड करेंगे ऐसे ही. So if you guys have Prettier installed, you might have noticed कि आपको हर बार semicolon नहीं डालना है. As soon as वो save होता है file, it takes care of the semicolon and the spacing and the stuff. So do install it if you have not installed the extension Prettier. Makes your work very easy and you don't have to unnecessarily give spaces and stuff. It will take care of it. So I guess we have done everything related to this thing. I guess मैंने task में डाला क्या? Task element dot class list. I'm just seeing कि I've done everything, just making sure कि सब हो गया. Append child. Okay, ये नहीं task ये append child task content किया मैंने. ये content है. Task el dot actions नहीं किया है if I'm not wrong. Just making sure. Task. Okay. Yeah. तो आज आपने ऐसे देखा रहेगा कि मैंने ये टास्क बेसिकली दिस टास्क इज माय पेरेंट टू दिस कंटेंट, दिस टास्क इज आल्सो द पेरेंट टू दिस एक्शंस, लाइक सेम डिफ के अंदर है कंटेंट और एक्शंस. तो मेरा एक्शंस ऐड करना रह गया है. सो आई विल सिलेक्ट द टास्क एलिमेंट डॉट append child again and task actions element. So yes, now hopefully everything related to this is done. And one last thing कि ये जो entire मेरा structure है, ये line from line number 24 to line number 32, ये मेरा और एक div के अंदर है. line number 23 पे you can see that there is a div which has an ID of tasks. तो ये वो वाले div के अंदर है. तो this entire div को हमें ये वाले div का parent देना है. So ये वाले div मैंने select किया था, like this div with an ID of task I had selected एकदम starting में with list underscore el. Like you can see the ID I gave hashtag tasks. तो अभी ये list को हम append करेंगे list el dot append child and उसमें हमें ये वाला child append करना है with the one which has task. और task के अंदर हमने already सब कुछ append कर दिया है पहले से. Append child. So yes, now we can, if I just maybe, okay, I just check, inspect console. Okay, set attribute on element. Some error I'm getting. Fill the keyword that have 2 arguments required but only one present. Line number 28. So yeah, if things are not working, you can always you'll get all the errors in this console. Like you can just press F12 on your browser and this will open. So let me see line number 28. Set attribute has, okay, it says that set attribute पे 2 arguments चाहिए but मैंने only 1 argument डाला है. So I don't know what this is. Let's Google search it because it's a part of development. Set attribute has 2 arguments but only 1 is present. What should I do? I don't know. I'm sure that I'm not the first one to get this doubt. Okay, let's see Stack Overflow.
Instead of read only, we can also use editable attribute, right?
Sorry, instead of
read only attribute, we can use editable. So we can set it to true or false.
So okay, so like no, when you, so I want my thing to be editable only if my user clicks on the edit button. So like I don't know if editable is a thing. I don't remember कि वो एक attribute भी है like editable करके. So वही हम लोग करने वाले.
Yeah, I just tried it right
Okay,
now.
okay. So okay, then it works fine then. You can set it to editable too. But let me just see the read only like what is the thing in set attribute here. Set attribute work comments required. Okay. Okay, let's see set attribute ka example. Okay, it says attribute name and I should have a value. Okay, element dot set attribute name and value. So let me just give it a name. I can give it, I guess, any name. Sorry. Okay, read only. पहला name है ना. Let's give it F for now and value में I guess read only. और उल्टा तो नहीं था. Let me see. Inspect element console. Okay, that error is gone. Now let's just check. Oh, sorry. Share. Okay, let me again check. Append child on node parameter is built to execute append child on node parameter 1 is not a type of node. Script 48. Parameter 1 is not of type node. Append child, oh, I guess append child task EL it is. No, append child task it is. No? Oh, task EL it is. Okay, my bad. So it does says कि मैं वो append कर ही नहीं सकता because वो मेरा node element ही नहीं है. Like task तो मेरा ये है, value है कोई. It is not an element. So that's why it was giving an error. Okay, works fine. So as you can see that as soon as I clicked on add task, मेरा ये आ गया है. And it says text here. It should have said my name, like whatever I have added. So I think input type text, class text, value a new task. Okay, we'll look into that. कि कहाँ मैंने कुछ गड़बड़ की होएगी. If you can just spot the error, let me know or I'll just. Okay, मैंने इधर value. Okay, इधर value को मैंने I think मेरे को value task डालना चाहिए था. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Input el dot value को मैंने task डालना चाहिए था, not text. I think it should work. No, okay, without semicolon. I don't know if okay. Oh yeah, okay, my bad. So मैंने वो सेमीकोलन के साथ टेक्स्ट डाल दिया था. तो टास्क बेसिकली मेरा यही एलिमेंट है. इफ यू रिमेंबर ये इनपुट डॉट वैल्यू वाला. तो ये एलिमेंट का मैं अभी वैल्यू सेट कर रहा हूँ टास्क में. दैट्स द थिंग. नाउ मेरे एडिट और डिलीट बटन्स काम नहीं कर रहे because we have to write the code for that too. So we'll just do that now. So yeah, if you guys have any doubts till now, please let me know.
Actually, the read-only thing is not sorted yet. You can still edit the issue that's in the task list.
Here? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay, lol. Nice. Let me.
So actually, we cannot set true or false to read-only. It's just present, not present attribute. So you can change it to editable, and then you can set it to true or false. I just searched on Stack Overflow right now.
Okay, so you meant that editable either like in the set attribute?
Yeah. Then you can set it to true. Sorry, false initially. Not in a string.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, if you're at task. No, okay, still. Okay, editable still works. It is still editable. Let me read only.
It will not work. It will not work.
Okay, let me just पहला एलिमेंट रीड ओनली करता हूँ एंड इट्स टेल की नेम होना चाहिए कुछ. So maybe I just give my name. Nobody cares. But I put okay. ओके ओके, तो मैंने बेसिकली ये गलत डाला होगा, ये दोनों पैरामीटर्स आए इंटरचेंज. दिस इज वैल्यू, लाइक दिस इज माय पैरामीटर, रीड ओनली करना है मेरे को एट्रीब्यूट. और इन नेम आई ऑब्वियसली डोंट नो ये नेम का क्या सीन है. आई थॉट कि एक ही सेट एट्रीब्यूट रीड ओनली करके हो जाएगा, सो बट इट सेज आई नीड 2 पैरामीटर्स. सो ओके, जस्ट कोई भी कुछ भी डाल सकते हो आप सेकंड पैरामीटर में. Let's hope there are no errors. No errors. So we are sorted for now. Now we have to, make the edit and the delete buttons work. So we'll do that now. Okay. So yeah, if you guys have any doubts, do let me know, and I'm gonna proceed further now. So मेरे edit and delete के, okay, yeah. Okay, also one more thing I forgot to tell you that as soon as you reload this, it will go. Because since we are not using any local storage now, we are just dynamically adding elements. So as soon as I reload this element now, every task will go. So this was just intended to be a small project, and I didn't want it to take much of your time too, because yesterday also I took like 1.5 hours, and I guess only, okay, we are at 3:55. I'll take more 15 minutes and we'll be done. So that's the thing about it, कि आप जैसे reload करोगे, everything will disappear because yeah, it refreshes everything and सब dynamically जो generate किया था, it's gone now. So मैं आपको एक बार कंसोल में जाके भी, इंस्पेक्ट एलिमेंट में जाके भी बता सकता हूँ कि ये टास्क वाला जो थिंग है. ओके, दिस इज माय टास्क वाला थिंग इन मेन टास्क लिस्ट टास्क. ओके, तो आप ये देख सकते हैं, ये मेरा कमेंटेड आउट कोड है जो मैंने इधर कमेंट आउट किया था ना, div क्लास टास्क. हम ये बेसिकली चाहते हैं कि जावास्क्रिप्ट इसको डायनामिकली क्रिएट करे. सो यू सी, अभी जावास्क्रिप्ट ने डायनामिकली क्रिएट किया है द एग्जैक्ट सेम एलिमेंट. सी, div क्लास टास्क है, टास्क के अंदर मेरा कंटेंट है, कंटेंट के अंदर मेरा इनपुट है, और इनपुट के अंदर लाइक टास्क के अंदर ही मेरा एक्शंस है. So this all code is created by JavaScript as soon, dynamically JavaScript generate कर रहा है as soon as I click on add task. तो ये मेरा commented out code है और ये मेरा वो code है. और मेरे जितने भी task रह गए, like if I add 2 to 3 tasks, अभी और एक मैं task add कर देता हूँ. Okay, it can be anything. तो देखिए, dynamically generated one more div task. और एक बार you can look at this console line. देखिए, और एक task generate हुआ. So that's what I meant by, dynamically generating stuff. So reloading it so that we have a fresh page now. So now let's quickly enable the edit and the delete buttons. Okay, so let's select the edit button, task edit EL. And now I'm going to add an event listener to my edit button. तो जैसे मैंने ये add task के लिए click, I guess submit वाला किया था, मैंने edit के लिए भी I'll do the same thing, dot add event listener, and whenever I click on the edit button, I should do something. I should first do the same thing, I guess, the prevent default thing which I talked about, कि I don't want my page to reload, because as soon as my page reloads, मेरा सब कुछ चला जाएगा. So I'm just doing that. I'm preventing the default things to happen. And just a minute, add task, edit. Okay, I guess पहले भी बिना इसके भी चल रहा था. Okay, no, it does go away. So preventing the default things to happen. And now it doesn't go away. So so हमें basically करना क्या है, हमें as soon as I click my edit button, मेरे को, sorry, I shouldn't have clicked. I'm just showing you. As soon as I click on edit button, मैं चाहता हूँ कि मेरा ये edit button पहले तो edit button के बदले save button हो जाए. Like this text in edit gets changed to save. And मैं चाहता हूँ कि मेरा इधर से जो read only attribute है वो हट जाए, so that the user can edit the stuff. That's the basic things which I want when the user clicks on edit button. So I'll just, as soon as the user clicks on edit button, मैंने inner text की बात की थी, तो जैसे मैंने inner text इधर edit किया है, मैं भी task edit EL को dot inner text को save कर दूंगा. Like I'll change it to save inner text is equal to save. So as soon as the user clicks on edit button, वो save हो जाएगा. Oh, it's still okay. Click e dot prevent default. Okay, it's okay. We'll look into क्या हो रहा है. पहले let's write the main logic of the code. कि वैसे जैसे यूजर लाइक एडिट को क्लिक करेगा उसका पहले इनर टेक्स्ट सेव होना चाहिए. देन आई हैव टू रिमूव माय रीड ओनली एट्रीब्यूट. तो मेरा टास्क एडिट ईएल में ही है वो. डॉट रिमूव एट्रीब्यूट करके देयर इज अ फंक्शन. सो रिमूव एट्रीब्यूट आई गेस इक्वल टू रीड ओनली और add. So this is how I remove my read only attribute. So वो editable हो जाएगा. And okay, so not edit. मेरा input element में read only है. input element read only है. तो input element से मैं read only remove करता हूँ. And that's it. I guess we need to do this thing only. Or I hope I'm not forgetting something. Okay, let's see. Okay, works. Okay. So you can see that as soon as I clicked on edit button, I'll just show you again. I just did this for checking because I thought कि कोई error ना आ जाए. तो अभी मैंने add task किया है. I'm clicking on my edit button. मेरा edit save में होता है और मेरा इधर you can see I can edit basically the पूरा thing read only. But I can, when like you can see वो color change हुआ है, that is all CSS. तो मैंने CSS में like बस मैंने वो define किया कि जब मेरा read only attribute नहीं है तो you change the color and do stuff. So yes, अभी you see save button काम नहीं करेगा because we didn't मैंने इसको ये नहीं बोला कि जब मेरा बटन save वाला बटन है तब मैं क्या करूँ like so I'll have to add an if else block here which says like कि when yes, so what I want the opposite to happen now. As soon as I click my save button, मेरा read only attribute वापस आ जाना चाहिए, मेरा save edit में हो जाना चाहिए. So that's what I want, the complete opposite of what I did right now. So I'll just add an if only कि ये आप तभी करो मेरा if my task edit element का inner text अगर मेरा edit है, task edit element कहाँ है? हाँ. If my task edit element dot inner text is equal to edit, perform ये सब, perform ये दोनों चीजें. Else I want to do something else. Like else block में I'll put the complete opposite of what we are doing right now. Okay. तो अभी मैंने else में वापस में I'll change the inner element of the edit button to sorry. Inner HTML, inner text, I guess, my bad, I selected the wrong thing. Inner text is अरे यार, yeah. So अभी I want to change the inner text again to save, I guess. Yes, save करना है मुझे and I have to add the attribute again. So I'll just copy the same line कि यही मैंने किया था, मेरे को वापस वही करना है कि मेरे को read only attribute वापस add करना है, nothing else. So that's what I want when the user is when basically मैं अपने कोड को यही बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर मेरा ये जो टेक्स्ट है ये edit है, like when this text is edit पे तो edit का save कर दो और read only attribute हटा दो. But जब मेरा ये edit नहीं है, like suppose anything other than edit is written here and as soon as I click it, मेरे को save से ओके इधर एडिट डालना था, माय बैड. सेव से मेरे को एडिट करना है और रीड ओनली वापस एट्रीब्यूट लाना है. दैट्स व्हाट द बेसिक दिस इफ एल्स स्टेटमेंट डज. ये मेरा वही काम कर रहा है. सो आई विल जस्ट चेक इट अगेन नाउ इफ एवरीथिंग इज वर्किंग. ओके, एडिट का सेव हो रहा है, सेव का एडिट नहीं हो रहा है. ओके, task edit dl dot inner text as edit, task input dl dot set attribute as read only. If task edit dl dot inner text is edit, then do this. and if it is not edit, then do something else. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know कुछ okay console में देखते हैं कुछ error है. No error, that means कुछ तो logic में I'm lacking a problem here. जब भी inner text मेरा edit है तो edit का save कर दो.
It might be because of capital E and small e.
Oh, okay, wait, let me see.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so let me just change इधर ही ना dot lowercase कर देता हूँ मैं इधर. Dot inner text dot.
No.
Okay.
Like once you have put an edit and then edit with capital E.
Just a minute.
No, like you have on the line 52 you have added edit with small e, and on 56 they edit with a capital E. So it make them same, either right small or like
But I mean,
small e
अभी
as big E. Edit with.
But अभी what I'm doing is मैंने इसको ही lower case में कर दिया ना, so like this inner text.
अरे but it is already,
okay.
Already in lowercase. Just write edit with big E in China.
Let me
And
see.
remove lowercase.
task. Mama, चल रहा है. So sorry guys. Okay, edit works, but I'll have to एक second see the save thing. Okay, I'll see the save वाला thing why it is not working. तब तक I'll just show you the delete one. Delete one is the most easy thing you can do. Like I just have to remove the classes. So I'll come back to the edit wala thing why it is not working. So let's select the delete element. Delete element dot add event listener. Click. E.prevent default. All the things which we have done earlier. Now delete में I want कि मेरा ये disappear ही हो जाए. Okay, it got disappeared because it reloaded. So delete में what I want is मेरा ये पूरा जो thing है it gets disappeared. तो as I said कि हमने जैसे एक append child किया था, we have a function called as remove child. So as soon as I just do remove child here, list el dot remove child. Remove child and I have to basically remove मेरा ये child, ये task ये like this entire child को मेरे को remove करना है. ये div के अंदर मेरा ये पूरा है तो मेरे को ये पूरा remove करना है. तो I'll remove task el basically. task element को मेरे को remove करना है. तो yes, I'll just add this delete. Okay, delete works fine. That's the very simple manipulation कि मैंने बस इसको हटा दिया और कुछ नहीं. So let's go again. एक बार अपन edit वाले things कर सकते हैं. Okay, तो मेरा जब edit नहीं है, then I need to change it to edit and मेरे को read set attribute करना है read only. If task edit el dot inner text. Task edit el dot inner text should be edit or task input el dot set attribute should be read only. Yeah, I don't understand any problems इधर क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. कंसोल में भी नहीं आ रहा है. Let's create multiple elements एक बार. Okay. Okay, it won't work, but delete is working fine. Okay.
I
task
just
editing.
joined right now. Once you're like at the end of the session,
No
uh,
problem. You can always watch the recording. Like we just created this thing,
a
task
to-do list
list.
tab with two functionalities: edit, delete, and
Yeah,
add. So it's purely like HTML and CSS already is provided. He just explained today the JavaScript functionalities, how to handle them. You can obviously watch the YouTube thing. Um, yes.
yeah. I was just now solving this thing that why it is not working because it should work. Task
Okay, yes.
editing.
Just show me the save thing. Like, okay, I see I've made one. Nice. Vansh has also made a project like this to-do list.
Oh wow! I mean, to-do list is one of the if you search for JavaScript projects for beginners, to-do list comes at the start, like to-do
Yes.
list calculator thing. So it's a very good beginner-friendly project which can help you understand कि okay DOM manipulation कैसे करते हैं. It doesn't go too deep into JavaScript. एकदम logic में too deep doesn't go, and it's just a great thing you can do.
Maybe
So
you can do else if instead of else and try
I can do what?
else if.
Okay, I can maybe do else if task edit मैं उसमें inner text अगर save I can write inner text to be save
Yes,
as
yes, try that and see.
yeah task edit el dot inner text is equal to save with the S capital then ये करो basically okay share task edit save and save है तो मेरे को edit पे करना है might be just missing some things which I don't know.
Like, does changing to save do anything else? Like,
No,
go.
it just changes to save और मेरा read only जो attribute है वो हटा देता है. That's the only thing it does. और
Can you go a little bit about, like, show me edit part?
the edit button. Okay. This is line number 35 से I created the edit वाला things. I added the text and stuff. So this तीन is only the edit वाला button और ये तीन line delete वाला button. Like it's the same only.
I guess when you change the name of the inner text, it doesn't like the value changes or something. Like its variable name or something changes.
By the way, I have an issue. Like in the if condition, we are using single equal to. We should use triple
Ooh.
equal to.
Wait,
Yes.
okay.
Oh,
I am.
So that
yeah.
might be a problem as well.
Yeah. This might be something. Okay, this might be the thing. Lol. I
We
should
have
always
used
use, like
it.
it's like normal में we use double equal to. In JavaScript we use triple equal to
Okay.
here.
Thanks, Rishabh, for
Thank
that.
you so much, Rishabh. This might be
Welcome.
the thing because okay lol.
Okay.
मेरा edit में e है. Let me. This won't change anything, but
Is
inner
it
text.
triple equal to? I haven't heard like.
Or
Triple equal to is
or
basically
maybe
for
double
a data
equal.
type as
Yeah,
well.
maybe double equal to. I should do a lot. Triple equal to be task edit dot inner text. Oh wait, I think I know. No. टू लोअर केस में भी नहीं वर्क कर रहा है. टू लोअर केस करके इक्वल टू एडिट.
I guess you'll have
Oh,
to.
okay. Oh, okay. Lamau. Okay. This was only the equal to का problem, guys. I was using single equal to. I remember it. I forgot to use double equal to. This two lowercase वाला thing is just no, like अगर मैं उसको हटा के भी करूँगा तो it will work. I am sure. So this was just the case. वो equal to की वजह से it was creating the problem. So if you can see, okay, I'll just show you again. मैंने add task किया. If I click on edit, this is completely now, like you can edit and stuff. and once I save it, okay, yeah, once I click on save, वापस like वो read only attribute हट जाता है and it happens like.
Yes.
So yeah, 1 = 2 can literally
I
make so much sense.
I guess like you have covered everything for today. You can just give a summary of
Yeah,
whatever you covered,
yeah,
and
sure.
we can end the session.
Sure. So today we just made this to-do list app, and we didn't basically create the UI from scratch because UI में time lag jata. You can see the CSS code is too big. I have given the UI का zip link, like the HTML and CSS code का zip link. You can also like I'll give it again before the session ends. And if you are watching basically on YouTube or something, just see the description. There will be a drive link. And again, so basic functionality of my to-do app is just adding task. And so as soon as I make a task here, I click add task, a task gets added. So what we worked on was DOM manipulation. DOM manipulation ke through we just selected all the elements of the HTML, and we created, we are basically dynamically adding these things here whenever the user clicks on add task. And this is obviously this will all go away once I reload the page because I am not using any local storage, or I'm not storage. You can, there is, if you want to explore more stuff, you can like you can do this. You can store the elements also in the in your browser. Like you can use cookies or something, or there is a function called window.local storage. I haven't exported yet, but you can use that to store maybe stuff. So that was the basic thing which we do. And this is obviously editable. You can edit the stuff and you can delete it. It goes away. Very easy two functions of delete and edit. So yeah, that's what we did for today's session. And it was just a small app, and I hope like it was nothing too heavy on JavaScript, but it gave you a small idea of how you can use JavaScript to create apps and how it works and stuff. So yeah. In these 2 days we just basically covered HTML, CSS, and thoda sa JavaScript ka stuff. Nothing more. If you just want to go out there and try more stuff in web development, you can definitely go on. Like you can try HTML, you can try CSS. As I said yesterday also, CSS में इतना deep जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. It's not easy to create UI. Trust me. पूरा दिमाग खराब होता है एक एक एलिमेंट बनाना and उसको करना. Like थोड़ा CSS पढ़ो, use Bootstrap or any library or any framework. CSS का Bootstrap है, Tailwind है. Learn that framework. That makes your job a lot easier. So don't go too deep in CSS unless you are very much interested, because yeah, that's the thing. And then you can just, if you want to go to backend, then up like backend maybe you must know thoda HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Then you can move to Node.js, MongoDB, Express. तो थोड़ा बैकएंड आपका अच्छा कवर हो जाता है उसमें. एंड इफ यू वांट टू गो मोर डीप इन फ्रंट एंड, थोड़ा सा जावास्क्रिप्ट पढ़ सकते हो. एंड साइड बाय साइड यू कैन आल्सो स्टार्ट विद रिएक्ट. लाइक उसके लिए थोड़ा जावास्क्रिप्ट नॉलेज इज नेसेसरी, बट यू शुडंट बी एन एक्सपर्ट. यू डोंट नीड टू बी एन एक्सपर्ट इन जावास्क्रिप्ट टू स्टार्ट विद रिएक्ट, बिकॉज रिएक्ट इज an amazing library of JavaScript. It is used to make front end components and stuff. So you can explore React, you can explore Type.js. You can explore React, you can explore TypeScript and stuff. There are a lot of things in web development. Like you can React, yes. So React, if you guys, I think Anam, blockchain is next week or next to next week?
Blockchain is next to next week, and I am thinking that like if you guys want to join in blockchain, I'll be, if possible, I'll be taking a smart contract and we'll be connecting it to a front end app, web app, but I'll be providing the front end web app in Zipling because you already have learned web development. So I will be focusing more on the blockchain part.
Yes. So mostly I've seen also the little blockchain which I've done, that you mostly use React and Vue.js and stuff to create the front end part, and we link the smart contracts to the front end basically. So that's the thing.
Sure. There is one question from Aman. Could you just
to master web dev HTML plus that will be okay. Yeah, UI UX also, if you want to do then it's a plus, then it's an add-on, because nowadays people want ki, companies also want कि मेरे को एक वेब डेवलपर और एक वेब डिजाइनर दोनों अलग अलग नहीं हायर करने. I want one person who can do both the things. So if you basically want to master front-end development, this is absolutely essential. HTML, CSS, JavaScript or UI UX will be a very good add-on so that you can design websites on your own. You don't have to basically. अभी अगर मैं बोलूँ ना, मुझे डिजाइनिंग बिल्कुल नहीं पसंद. I just hate designing because I don't know how to think कि okay इधर ये कलर आना चाहिए, इधर वो कलर आना चाहिए. It will help you a lot. And after, like, don't stop there. You can then explore front-end के frameworks like React, because React is like, I mean, everywhere I see people are using React. React will definitely, React is definitely a must, I guess. So this is your front end thing, and yeah. So one shall, but also have outlet frameworks. Also, shall I go in depth of this? It depends on your interest. If you like love doing CSS, like just you can see एक बार explore कर सकते हो आप, एक बार depth में जाने के लिए. But वही है कि you have a point that frameworks are already available, and I don't think anybody right now जिसको CSS के components बनाने हैं, they do it manually एकदम. They use frameworks a lot. So if अगर explore करना है, you can do, because then if you ask me कि एकदम एक maybe आप job level पर, I think you are gonna use frameworks only, because इतना time भी नहीं रहेगा. You will be more focused on other things. तो UI components के लिए, CSS के लिए frameworks. I feel कि थोड़ा CSS पढ़ के frameworks जरूर पढ़ो. फिर depth में जाना है तो no problem. Like do learn frameworks because बहुत job easy करते हैं वो. And if you want to go in backend, then hey, Node.js and stuff, MongoDB है, Express है. So that's the thing for backend.
The simple rule is, if you know the basics, you can take out and explore other stuff which can help in decreasing the time of the stuff you're building. It can be applied in any field, not just web development.
So yes, if you have any more questions, we are here. Or else we'll just end the session in 5 minutes.
Yes, I just wanted to add to the question what Aman and Vanch asked, like related to learning UI, UX and in-depth CSS. Like there are frameworks available, but if you are really interested into front end, because front end is also a really complex, like people do say it's easy, but in my opinion, it's like a really complex, and like if you have that creative side in you, then you should actually explore CSS making websites from scratch. You can actually upload your templates so people can use it. There are a lot of GitHub repositories if you see now. But if you're not that into front end, but you are good at back end, then I think so you should just explore the frameworks and know the basics of CSS, so you can edit the templates that you are taking from anywhere according to your website. And to master web development, I think Twitter is like the best place to get all these resources and guidance from. But first, I will suggest start with some course, get into it, and you can switch courses in between and start making projects. Like projects will help you a lot, and it will help you in your portfolio itself. Like if you are on GitHub, then I think so you should start making different projects based on HTML, CSS and JavaScript.
A good project might be just, if you have learned these 3 things, let's make a portfolio website of your own. It will help you in the long run. You can basically add stuff. You can show off to recruiters and stuff. ये मेरा project है. This is my portfolio website. You can edit it. You can make it, use CSS, edit it. You can put all your skills into it. Make it if you want. Obviously not like compulsory, but it can be a good project if you want. Portfolio website.
Do you guys have any more doubts? If not, then we'll end the session. We'll be sharing summary of both the sessions actually, and we'll be telling you what are the steps to like take it ahead. Like first, you'll have to explore more backend, some topics like API calls and all that, how to deploy it and all that. So these will be like the step stones that you should take in completing the course ahead, right, Ashar? So he will be the one who will be creating a summary and will be sharing it by tonight.
And I'll also upload this code on GitHub if anybody wants to take a look. the source code of the JavaScript file and all the files, like, so
Yeah,
you can have a look there.
I think so. You should upload the code. It will like actually, if you guys have like learned a lot, then you can actually contribute to the code, like add more functionalities and features. Like Ishir said, there was no local storage in the web app. You can actually learn it and do it. So it will be a really good chance for you to actually learn web development first, and then learn how to create PRs in open source and how to contribute. You can go there and create an issue. If you don't know, you can ask me on Discord, and I'll help you explore that.
Okay, then it's already 4:25. Let's take a screenshot and we can end the session.
If you want, you can turn on your cameras because I'll be taking a screenshot.
Rishabh and Vansh, would you like to turn on your camera? It's total fine if you don't want to, but if you can, then we will.
Well, you have met us, so face reveal is already done.
Yes, I
So,
took the screenshots.
okay.
Bye.
Bye bye, guys. Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Yeah. That was a good session. Yeah. You can join the VC. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, there.
One, tell me if you have something.
I have shared my project which I made about this note making. You can check it out at Summer Bootcamp chats.
The dice one, I
No,
saw
no,
that.